Our involvement in Mongolia started last year in September when we went across to finalise a contract whereby we would supply teachers to Little London English School, and they would supply kids to us for holiday camps in the summer. What happened was that the Mongolian government then sort of hijacked our trip out there and latched onto the fact that we could actually help them with the development of football within China. Inner Mongolia is the pilot province for the development of football in China, and since that time we've managed to develop a number of work streams, one of which is to send their coaches over to us for training courses here. We can deliver the FA International Certificate, and we also give them an insight into professional football over here. We've also written a curriculum which is ranging from the elite side of the development of players right down to grassroots. And it's in grassroots whereby China will make the mileage in terms of the goal of achieving being World Cup winners by 2050.
What we do here is go back.
The course is the FA's International Coaching Certificate at foundation level, and there's some classroom work, some practical work. It's based around the FA's Plan, Do, Review programme. We're covering topics such as how to create a learning environment for players, how do we motivate players, how do we enthuse players. We then look at how we plan sessions, how we deliver sessions. The key learning objectives are around Plan, Do, Review, understanding England DNA in terms of in possession, out of possession, transition, what that means. It really looks at how coaches create a learning environment for the players, which really works the players in all of the four corners that the FA talk about, the social, psychological, technical, physical, to get the largest outcomes from practice as possible. The main benefits is for coaches when they go back home is how to organise groups, how to plan meaningful sessions, how to make sure that all players are engaged in those sessions, and how to really plan, deliver and then review, which really is a key part of their work. So they keep constantly reviewing their practice and looking at what's going well, what could go even better, and keep making changes as they get that experience.
My name's Dan O'Donnell. I am the Vice Technical Director of the China Operations for Tranmere.
Richard Hodgson, my role really is to support the International Foundation Award with the FA coaches to ensure that maybe some of the Mongolian coaches get an opportunity to experience some higher level structure and organisation that maybe they require as part of their take home from these 2 weeks here. It's a long, long way to come and not have fulfilment in needs and satisfying what they feel, what their expectations were before they came.
Well, on the back of the success that we had delivering in Hainan, we've been given a contract to deliver to the Chinese coaches to come to the football club and see how a professional club's run. The first Tranmere day was today, or is today, and myself, I'm taking lead on that to deliver a couple of sessions revolved around age-specific training. So while we were out in Hainan, our experiences were sort of tailored towards, or we can see that they need a little bit of guidance on on what is different from an older sort of 16 to 18-year-old's training should look like compared to that of a 5 to 8-year-old and all the way through the system.
We started the day early with talking about planning and the process of planning, understanding what schemes of work look like, understanding how to manage and organise large groups from a participation base, but then what structure and organisation looks like for performance and excellence, and then onto elite groups of players where you're dealing with squads with completely different expectations, and as opposed to school activity where pretty much all your pupils will be of a learner status.
We're trying to give them the best experience of a living, breathing football club as we possibly can without any first team action at the moment. We're going to send the coaches away to go and assess a game in the Confederations Cup. I think it'll be Australia versus Germany or one of the games, and then Richard will sit down with them and say this is how we'd analyse a game, or if this for instance was a report from our opposition, this is how we'd set it up, just to give them a little bit of a flavour, more of a flavour of the professional side, whereas most of the work so far has been I think rightly so focused on the grassroots level of coaching.
The main aim is to ensure that all these coaches have got something clear in their mind about what they feel would help them to help their young pupils and their young players, depending on what level they're working at, when they get back to in Mongolia. If we don't achieve that, we've failed in our principal aim. It's a long way to come and have insufficient to take back to improve and enhance your potential and performance as a coach, as well as improve and enhance the potential and performance of the young players.
We use futsal as the main theme that runs through our academy curriculum. So we take the principles technically and tactically and we embed them into our main curriculum that our players use when they play full-size field football. You can take a lot of different principles from futsal, especially the ability to manipulate the ball in tight areas and the tactical principles that you can learn from it as well. We play futsal all the way from the age of under 9. We play it all the way throughout the academy to under 16s. We also play futsal with our under 18 group, which is the full-time scholars. They play futsal once a week on the futsal facility we've got at the football club. So there's loads of opportunity for the players to learn the skills from futsal, because it is a slightly different game. Obviously there's less players, there's a smaller area. It is more technical than the normal field game, but if we can embed them principles in our young players, we believe that by the time they come through to full-time football, they'll have a better understanding of how to deal with the ball in tight areas, and also the understanding of attacking in small groups and defending in small groups.
I'm Damon Shaw, I'm the futsal manager at Tranmere Rovers. I'm the only British UEFA qualified futsal coach. I spent 3 years in Barcelona studying my badges and coaching in a couple of top clubs in Spain. Futsal is played on a 20 by 40 metre pitch or smaller, and if you translate that to a football pitch, you're playing what would be 37 aside. So you can imagine the lack of space you've got and how players need to improvise and think quick in those small spaces. Futsal in itself is a great sport for a coach. There's a lot of detail in futsal that maybe you don't get in football. As a coach, you're always active, you're always involved in the game, you can make a lot of changes. You can be really involved in the way the game goes. It's a fantastic game for a coach as well as it is for a player. It's a great game for the Chinese coaches, especially in the winter when they're indoors anyway. They might as well use futsal. It's proven as a great development tool for football, and if their players are using that 6 months of the year, then they're certainly going to improve. The players get more touch on the ball, the players get more actions, more shots, more chances to make decisions, more chances to make mistakes, and they're doing that in a high intensity environment. They'll love the game, they'll fall in love with futsal, which will help breed their love for football as well in the future. And of course you've got players like Neymar, Messi, Ronaldo have all played futsal from being a kid, so there's no argument there that futsal does help develop players.